Bones are amazing things. They hold us up, they support us, they make us strong. But bones have other uses. In the past, bones were thrown by diviners, seeking out the mysteries of the future. Now the bones are cubes, made of plastic or resin, but they still reveal things to us. As they fall from our fingers and rattle across the table, the story becomes clear. Welcome to Bone Throwers Theater, an RPG actual play podcast.
Hello and welcome back to Bone Throwers Theater. My name is Jordan and I am going to be guiding your trip through the neighborhood because you are Raccoon Sky Pirates. Buckle up.
And my name is Jeremy and I will be playing Torch Key.
My name is Aaron, and I will be playing Vibrissa.
I'm John, and I'm playing Kit.
Yes, you heard us right. We are playing Raccoon Sky Pirates, a game for 3 to 6 raccoons.
We are not raccoons.
You are a raccoon, a chittering, baggy pants, ring-tailed burglar.
That's what it said. It starts off in bold. You are a raccoon.
A filthy bandit. A chaos gremlin. You and your friends have built an implausible floating ship in the junkyard, and tonight you'll fly it across town to the suburbs to steal better trash. Together you'll navigate the treacherous neighborhoods, find a ripe freestanding house with cable internet, steal as much as you can carry, and fend off the neighborhood watch, all while trying not to explode. In Raccoon Sky Pirates, it's all for one and one for all. So yeah, we have a junkyard that we live in. We have a map with all sorts of cool places that we can visit. We also have an airship. That airship is called the Dumpster Fire. It is a most appropriate name, do you not think? Somehow, a whole crew of raccoons were able to build an airship. I want to know what kind of technology you guys have and why you haven't helped out the humans.
Because they won't quite fit in the types of ships that we could build.
Gotcha. Well, let's go ahead and introduce our characters. Tell about our look, our personal goals, our relationship, that kind of thing. Jeremy, I'll let you go first.
Alright, my character, Torch Key, is the daring thief. His look is wacky and misdirecting. He has a personal goal to set up an elaborate practical joke. A recent escapade of mine, and I also roped in Vibrissa into this escapade, was attempting to steal something. I recently had seen the movie Mission Impossible on a TV in a house we were trying to get some stuff from, and I saw the scene where the character is descending on wires. So I rigged up this contraption to recreate that scene in order to steal something. And I made Vibrissa push the buttons to make it work.
Vibrissa is also a very inventive individual, so they might have actually enjoyed being a part of this scene.
Yeah.
Very much.
And one thing I want to steal is a taser. Just for general practical joking and to deal with the Rottweiler problem in the junkyard.
Yeah, those Rottweilers, you got to keep them down. They got to know who's boss.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's go ahead and move on to Vibrissa.
I'm Vibrissa. I do not have back legs. Instead, I have wheels.
How'd that happen?
Rottweilers.
Okay. I told you they were a problem.
My personal goal is to execute a complex plan. I asked Kit if they were excited, who you will meet here shortly, that I was going to be going on this trip with them. And Kit actually said that no, they are definitely not excited about that because I am constantly trying out my experiments and my new inventions on Kit.
Have you ever blown Kit up?
Yes.
Only a little bit.
It was a minor explosion.
Yeah.
Kit still has all 4 appendages.
That's what I was about to say. He's
All 5.
still got back legs.
Yeah. Kit's doing better than I am. My goal, one of the things that I want to steal, is a soldering iron, because, of course, it would work for my experimentation, but also that way we could start sous videing our food.
Okay. And you know what? There's nothing better than sous vide spam. You don't even have to take it out of the can.
Sous vide banana peels.
Oh, okay, yeah. Have you ever tried to wash your food in the sous videing water while it's hot?
I think that's a bad idea.
But you learned that the hard way.
Well, no, because I've never had sous vide food.
Okay.
That's why we need the sous vide.
Okay.
I mean, the soldering iron.
Sounds good. Kit, tell me about yourself.
I'm the littlest.
In the emotional sense, the physical sense, how would you describe littlest?
Youngest?
Youngest? Okay. You are actually a child.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
I wear a hoodie and headphones often.
Where did you get the hoodie and the headphones?
Took them.
Did you take them from a local store or from...
From the house.
Oh, from a house. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
The same house where Torchkey had me crawl through the hamster cage to get the water bottle.
Oh, I see. Were the headphones and the sweatshirt in the same child's bedroom?
Yeah.
Okay.
They fit nice, don't you think?
And they do. I especially love the imagery on the sweatshirt. I didn't know that you were into Sesame Street.
We're painting raccoon eyes on it.
Hmm.
I was thinking more of the Gardens of the Galaxy t-shirt.
And yeah, the thing I want to steal, I want to get a garden hose. One of those really, 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 really long ones.
I gotcha. And actually that makes sense because if you have a garden hose, you can fill up your container for your sous videing.
Yep.
And we can wash the area where we eat.
Yes. Sounds like fun. All right, so now that we have our characters established, why don't we go ahead and build the dumpster fire?
Well, that should be easy.
Okay, so the dumpster fire. How does the ship float? You have several options. You have hot air, hydrogen or helium, swamp gas, dozens of helicopter blades, mechanical wings, blankety-blank magnets, Tesla coils, cavorite, which I'm not 100% sure I know what cavorite is, dark energy, and the fifth element.
I'm liking the dozens of helicopter blades.
I think I'm digging that.
Cavorite is a hypothetical substance with anti-gravity effects.
Okay. Kid, how do you feel about dozens of helicopter blades?
I like that.
Pilfered from drones.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
funny you should mention drones. The neighborhood watch is actually equipped with them. All right, now we get to mark 2 strengths, and then the rest are liabilities.
Oh gosh.
So for strength, we have fast, quiet, sturdily armored, tightly fastened together, maneuverable, well-armed, sleek and stealthy. Those are our strengths.
Sleek and stealthy.
We gotta go with tightly fastened together. You just have to.
Or else it's a liability. Which means it's not.
So the liabilities are a list of opposites.
Oh, okay.
Tightly fastened together.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
And you Kit wants sleek and stealthy. Any objections
yes.
to that?
Sleek and stealthy is fast and quiet.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah,
It's
I know.
sleek and stealthy. When I hear sleek and stealthy, it's both.
Yeah.
How can you be stealthy but not quiet?
Yeah, I don't see a whole bunch of dozens of helicopter blades being quiet. There's probably some buzzing going on.
But we're well camouflaged. We're painted
Yeah,
black.
let's go ahead with sleek and stealthy. That's fine.
We're painted black.
Now here are your liabilities. You are slow. You are noisy. You are vulnerable. You are hard to steer.
Chicken out.
And you are unarmed.
Wait, what?
Unarmed. You didn't choose well armed, so you don't have things to like shoot.
We don't have weapons.
I guess the opposite of well armed to me is not well armed, not unarmed.
No middle ground.
Right.
I think you're unarmed and unlegged.
We're going to go ahead and talk about the physical components of your vehicle. Which wrecked car is in your ship? A 72 Volkswagen Beetle, which will help you evade. A 57 Cadillac DeVille, which helps you absorb shocks.
Too heavy.
Or a school bus, which will allow you to find a useful piece of trash.
Because school buses are full of useful trash.
I mean, children are in them.
Do you know how many helicopter blades would take to lift up into that?
Dozens!
Especially those little drone helicopter blades.
Right.
Well, we'd be definitely noisy.
Do you know how batteries we would need? My first thought, even before I read the list, was a beetle. So
I can see it being a beetle.
Yeah, sure, beetle.
I can dig a beetle.
Okay. You are now an airship with dozens of helicopter blades and a Volkswagen Beetle. Which home appliance is in your ship? A food processor, which helps you cut through something. A vacuum cleaner, which helps you grab hold of something. Or a washing machine, which helps you remove one complication card.
Who cares about complications?
Vacuum.
vacuum cleaner sounds useful.
Yeah.
All right, and now finally, which carnival ride is in your ship?
Oh, gosh.
Octopus, which will help you reach out with long arms. A gravitron, which is great for ejecting trash and or raccoons. Or a zipper, scoop something up and pull it into the ship.
I'm voting Gravitron.
Yeah, sure.
That's our weapon.
We just launch ourselves at it.
It's usually you launch a kit.
Occasionally with something strapped to him.
All right. You are justifiably proud of the dumpster fire.
That's a shame.
This is great.
If we have a load of like rotors, we launch those at opposing drones.
Yeah.
Sure, it shakes constantly, it drops rusty parts onto the street below, and it could blow at any moment, but stars, it sure looks fine. So, what does it look like? Likely sections include an engine room, propellers or other machines for thrust, a bridge and helm, flaps or wings for steering, the flotation mechanism itself, a map room, a galley where food is prepared, and a lookout. The galley is just a bucket.
Oh, this is a really big VW.
The bug is inside.
Yes,
The-
that's what it said.
It's
So-
like kind of like built around like
I mean, we have a very large ship.
yes. In what precarious ways is it held together?
It's not because it's well fastened and put together.
Yeah, okay.
Tightly fastened.
But like, is it highly fastened with duct tape?
No,
No.
it's actually
It's-
wires.
Wires and bolts and plates and
Yeah, we really, really put this thing together. This
Rivets.
is yeah.
rivets.
Rivets
Yep, rivets.
put together with frunks.
And I think we know what sound it makes.
Yes, high pitched buzzing noise.
How does it smell?
Like a '76 Volkswagen Beetle.
So lots of weed, hippies.
Yeah, it smells a lot like hippies.
Yeah, that would be a pretty predominant smell.
What frantic measures are needed to keep it afloat?
We have to keep changing batteries.
And the only charger we have is a hand crank one, so we gotta hand crank all these batteries to charge them and then swap them back in.
You know what would be great is like a little raccoon on one of those
Hamster wheel?
Yeah, on a hamster wheel, or I was thinking of like a mechanical bike,
Yeah.
like a Peloton kind of thing.
To keep the thing going.
All right, so we have our complication cards set up. The complication cards add wrinkles to each scene. You can use regular cards if you don't have the special deck that it comes with. At the start of each of the first 4 scenes, each player draws a hand of 3 complication cards from the suit that matches the scene. So we're about to start scene 1, so I'll go ahead and deal out 3 cards for each of you.
Am I looking at this?
Yes, this is for you. Because remember, this is how you can make your rolls helpful if you don't get a number that works well for you, is you can play one of these cards. So just to grab one off the deck. So all of these have to do with things that can be going wrong with the dumpster fire itself. So the one that I just pulled off the top of the deck is a wing or fin is coming loose.
Okay.
So you can play that, and then you have to figure out some way to resolve that.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. This game is going to be fun.
It's gonna be ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, how to make rolls. There are 3 attributes that each of you have. So, Torch Key, go ahead and share your attributes with us.
Sneaky, deft, and precise.
Cool. And Vibrissa?
Cunning, inventive, and YOLO.
Cool.
Sneaky, sensitive, and YOLO.
Cool. So whenever you guys go to do something, you decide which attribute you're going to use. And then you grab your 12-sided die and you roll it. So let's say that you wanted to do something Torch Key that was sneaky. So I rolled a 2. You look over here and your number 2
It's sneaky.
is sneaky. So you are able to go ahead and start sneaking around and being quiet and getting that stuff done. That is a success. Let's go ahead and say you're trying to be sneaky again. Oh, I rolled a 4.
That is deft.
So because it is deft and not sneaky, that is not helpful. You don't do what you wanted to do, or you can do it at a great cost. You can mark a problem on the problem track, either on the house sheets or on the ship. So the problem track is straining, jammed, spotted, oops, falling apart, and boom. Those are the problems for the ship. Mark a problem on the problem track, and then look at all the complication cards in play and the tags in the upper right corner. If any of the problems named there are on your same track and are unmarked, then mark them as well. Describe how each new problem adds to the chaos. So when you look at the cards, the one that I was showing you earlier of Wing or Fin is coming loose, it has rivets marked there. So if I'm reading this correctly, let's say you were marking off straining. And the straining problem is the ship's rivets might pop at any moment. There's no real tag on that. But because rivets is tagged here, that takes us to oops as well. A piece of the ship falls out. Name it or roll on the ship trash list and describe what happens.
So that track isn't progressive.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
But then it also sounds like we mark the ones with the tags. Look at all the complication cards in play and the tags in the upper right corner. If any of the problems named there are on the same track and are unmarked, mark them as well. Describe how each new problem adds to the chaos and escalates the scene.
Okay.
Or if your action is still somehow helpful, once per scene, play a complication card from your hand into the middle of the table. Only the player who rolled can play a card for this action. Describe how your action helps, and separately how the complication affects the situation going forward. So that's how we get those cards out.
Yeah, so the complication is only like, let's say I roll and I'm trying to be cunning and instead I roll a YOLO.
Yeah.
But I still want to be helpful. I have to play a complication.
Right. So you can do that, or you can mark on the problem track.
Okay. Yep. So let's say we mark the one that says rivets, and then we play the one that says rivets. We don't have to then mark the ones that say rivets.
Exactly.
Next time we mark something else, we would
also have to mark the rivets. It'll work out in play.
I think I'm following.
All right. The game is set up to play in 5 scenes. First scene is fly the ship. So the dumpster fire is taking off from the junkyard. You are all in the ship. At the beginning of the scene, you launch. What's it like? Is the ship teetered on a mountain of trash, or is it floating, tethered to the ground with wires? That kind of stuff. You pilot your ship from the junkyard, past the light industrial district, into the suburbs. You start at the upper left and move towards one of the 4 different houses. And the 4 different houses that we have are the McMansion, the 1980s layout, the rancher layout, or the bungalow. And those are all in different areas. So we just kind of choose which house we go to. As we go through each section of the map, we go ahead and describe the perils that each new space brings to our ship. You can also attempt to acquire new trash to help you in your raid on the house. So this would be done by a roll. Once you reach the house, you board the house. You have found a ripe freestanding house with a garage and cable internet. You may be in the ship or on the house. This scene lasts just long enough for you to secure the ship so it doesn't drift off and find a way inside. Next scene, steal trash. Behold the deluxe glory of the suburban home. From the overcluttered attic to the plush bedroom, the high-tech living room, the smart kitchen, cream wall-to-wall carpet, and decadent man cave. Somewhere in this house, probably asleep, are 2 adults, a teenager, a toddler, a dog, and a cat. You are all in the house with brief trips to the ship to stow your haul. You don't have to narrate taking stuff to the ship unless it's interesting to play it out. In general, you steal one thing at a time. Using the house map for the house you've invaded, indicate which room each of you starts. As players, you may find it helpful to put a marker on the map representing your raccoon. To help you decide where to go and what to take, look on your character sheet for one thing you wanted to improve in the junkyard. You can also look at the house trash list for suggestions of things to steal or come up with your own ideas. Write down each thing you steal on the ship sheet. At the end, you'll compare the number of things to the victory conditions table in section 11. If or when the residents find you, you have to flee. This involves at least one roll for each raccoon. And then you escape. You're all in the ship. Fly back to the junkyard loaded down with trash. If it's not marked yet, mark the spotted row on the ship's track, because the neighborhood watch's drones or rival trash animals have definitely seen you by now. On the neighborhood maps, start at one of the houses on the right and make your way to the junkyard in the upper left. Each move needs a roll. Finally, 5, enjoy your ill-gotten gains. If your ship has not yet gone boom, you arrive at the junkyard. You now have precious treasure in the form of upper middle class gewgaws and other assorted trash. Count up your stolen trash items and compare the number to the victory conditions table. To what glorious uses do you put your haul? Do you build a better life for yourselves? Or, as is your due, do you simply ride around on a Roomba while wearing a Tupperware bucket for a hat? If your ship blew up, your score is 0, but you can rebuild it. Finally, see Section 12 to prepare for next time. You can upgrade your ship, rebuild it, or expand your territory. You can also improve your raccoon's actions. Describe to me the condition of your junkyard.
It's a junkyard, not like a landfill, so there's not a bunch of trash. It's like cars and appliances stacked up. I imagine we cleared a clearing to build our ship in.
Yeah, actually, there's 4 pretty solid walls of cars that, if you don't fly directly over the junkyard, you can't see it. Because, raccoons scurrying around building a ship would be pretty odd for someone walking through the junkyard to see.
Now, does the dumpster fire, the Volkswagen that it's a part of, does that actually have tires still, or is it just like rims?
Just rims.
Just rims?
We burned the rubber.
You like the smell?
No, it was used as a distraction.
Okay.
We have to get wires somewhere.
Yeah.
What is your favorite part of the junkyard, Kit?
My favorite part of the junkyard? Manager's office.
What's in the manager's office?
A microwave.
What do you like to do with the microwave?
Put things in it, watch them spin,
And
then
blow up.
either blow up or then eat them.
Sometimes both.
Sometimes both.
How about you, Torch Key? What is your favorite part of the junkyard?
The car compactor.
There's like a garage right off of the manager's trailer. And the humans do a good job of sorting some of the trash to make it easier just to take the good stuff.
Yeah. The sales garage.
Vibrissa,
The big giant magnet that's used to move cars around.
do you play with that very often?
Yes. The hardest part about that is getting away when people notice that the crane is moving when they don't have anybody that's supposed to be working the crane. And I'm always having to, go hide.
Now, how hard is it to get up and down into that because of your wheels?
Actually, the wheels are smushy, so they kind of conform to different things.
All terrain.
Yeah. They're really not too much of an impediment for me getting around.
Okay. So it is the middle of the night. We'll go ahead and say that the stars are out, the moon is up. How do you guys get into your dumpster fire?
The VW bug is on the bottom, upside down, and with the hood lowers down for our boarding ramp.
It's genius.
Now, is it multi-level? Is it like the Beetle is on the lower level and then you have the Gravitron above it? How exactly is that set up?
The Gravitron's on top because the Gravitron is its own floor. And it's upside down as well. So that way when we spin and launch, instead of launching up into our propellers, we launch down towards the ground. I only went through 2 iterations before I got it right.
Rest in peace. Rest in peace. What was his name? Brisket Jack?
More like pieces.
In his life, he enjoyed food. And in the end, he was enjoyed as food.
Kept the Rottweilers away for a little bit.
Yep.
Cool. So you all get in. Torch Key, where do you typically go once you get onto the dumpster fire?
I go to the electrical room. Engineering.
Engineering. What about you, Vibrissa? Where do you go?
I tend to man like comm station.
Radar.
Yeah, or sensors.
Go ahead and describe those for me.
So we have 3 telescopes.
Okay.
One facing forward, one facing to the right, and one facing to the left. We also have radar. It was actually pieced out of a cop car that was in the junkyard. We pulled it out and we repurposed it.
Cool.
And I go to the helm. Always got to steer us.
All right. So you guys are taking off. Do you have any particular house that you want to go to tonight?
They're all more or less the same number of spaces away, except for the one on the bottom right, which I think is the McMansion.
Yes, the McMansion is...
That's 5 spaces away compared to the 4 for the rest of them.
Yep, that's fairly accurate.
So I'm up for any of them.
Okay.
So what does everybody want to steal, though?
I want a hose.
You're looking for a hose?
A taser.
McMansion.
Yep.
No, if we go for the ranch house, because we can also steal things in
On
these
the
other
way.
spaces.
Right. There's
So
the police station.
there's the police station and dispatcher, but there's also the hardware mega store. We might be able to swing up through the hardware mega store, down through the police dispatcher, and then to the ranch house.
That sounds good.
So where would you like to go first?
We kind of want to head up towards the hardware mega store.
Head towards the chemical plant. What do you want to do to advance things? Okay.
Steer the ship.
Okay. All right. And what attribute are you going to use for that?
YOLO.
Okay. So the ship takes off.
Ah, we got sneaky.
Oh,
Show up where you least expected.
Well, do you want to go ahead and play one of your complication cards?
Nah.
No?
No.
Okay. So your action is unhelpful. Go ahead and describe your unhelpful action.
Well, instead of turning left, I turn right because I don't know my left from right yet. They say go left, so I go that way.
You go.
Your other left.
And so we go this way.
I don't think it works that
No.
way. You would stay on the junkyard because you're still trying to go in a specific direction. So you just don't have a successful roll yet.
No, but I showed up where I least expected.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking that more applied to you. So, I mean, if you want, you could leave the helm room and go, hey, guys, which one is my right or my left? So when you make an unhelpful roll,
Which is going to be 90% of our rolls.
you don't do what you wanted to do, or you do it at a great cost. Mark a problem on the problem track on either the house sheet or the ship sheet. So you're able to take off, but things are starting to strain.
That's typical.
So now the ship is straining under the pressure of trying to go the wrong way. Might not have been completely unhooked from the moorings. So who's next?
Jeremy?
I guess that's...
It's like a skills challenge.
Yeah,
Is
essentially.
essentially what we're
Yeah,
doing.
okay.
So are you going to be deft, precise, or sneaky?
I'm going to be sneaky.
All right.
Okay, let me kind of change that.
Sure.
I'm going to be deft.
Okay.
And I'm going to, since it seems like Kit is steering us in the wrong direction, temporarily shut down the engines on that side to make us actually turn in the right direction.
I'm going to go ahead and roll on the ship trash list to see what is in the engineering room that you might be able to use. 74. Jumper cables.
Take them off the battery. There's power on that side of the ship.
Yeah, I was like, okay, unhook them to the leads, okay.
Okay, so go ahead and roll your die.
One. Precise.
You are not deft.
See what I mean? Your chances of getting this are very slim,
I mean-
actually.
They're actually
It's 4 and 12. 1 out of 4 chance.
But each thing has 6.
6. Each thing has 6 of them. So you have a 50% chance.
Yeah. 50% technically.
Yeah.
Do you want to play one of your complication cards to make that helpful?
How does that make...
I'm
I
trying to
don't see
understand
how this makes it helpful because these are bad things.
Right.
Yeah.
So, it is still somehow helpful. Once per scene, play a complication card from your hand in the middle of the table. Describe how your action helps, because you were trying to deftly remove the jumper cable.
These actions aren't happening. You're putting this into play.
Yeah.
Because then what can happen is next time we mark something here, that can get triggered. I think that's what it is.
So if we don't do anything right now, we're going to check off the next box, which is jammed.
Okay.
The ship is noisy, making a mess, or it gets caught in the trees, in telephone wires, or smashing into a building. And then we get to describe what happens.
All right. So what does playing the complication actually do?
It just puts it out there as this could happen.
That's a gears thing. So if we get to the gears thing on the trouble track, that would happen also.
Right. And at this point, it's just a possibility. It's not actually
It's not actually a problem. It's like basically using a fate point or a hero point that will come back and get you later.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And that we will start progressing towards our goal.
All right. So what I'm trying to figure out, is there a advantage to playing a particular card?
If you look at the chart, there is an order in which they get activated.
I think strategy might be, let's say you play a helm. I'm going to want to play a helm. And then Johnny's going to want to play a helm. So that way we only have helms out there, so that's the only one that's going to get triggered. Because from what Jordan read, let's say we have to check another box, and we have helm, gears, and rivets out here.
We would have to check off all three of them.
We have to check all three helm,
Yes.
gears, and rivets. Because those are the three tags in play. Versus if you play a noise or helm, we want to try to follow suit.
Okay. So it would be to advantage to put a helm out there because the next one we would only be marking off one anyway.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yes, that's what I was not understanding.
Okay. So you are now helpful.
Yes.
So now we have that in play.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Are we going to the chemical plant or the electrical substation?
Chemical plant.
Chemical plant. You are at the chemical plant. What is one thing you see when you look down at the chemical plant?
The Joker.
I was going to say giant open vats.
Okay, giant open vats. Vibrissa, what is one thing you remember about your last trip to the chemical plant?
The way the smell burned my nostrils.
Okay. Kit, why won't you ever go back to the chemical plant?
I don't want to lose a leg.
Oh, like Vibrissa?
Yeah.
There's Rottweilers.
I actually don't tell anybody how I lost my legs.
There's
Every
all
time
sorts of
somebody
stories.
asks, it's always another story.
Brissa always, it's like, do you want to know how I lost my legs? Do you want to know how I got these scars?
Do you want to look for trash at all at the chemical?
Nah.
Nothing I need.
Nah.
Okay. So we're going to need another successful roll to continue on the chart.
I am going to be cunning. I am going to be looking out through the three
The telescope.
telescopes, and I'm going to be telling Kit where to steer.
Hopefully Kit has figured out left and right. Or starboard and...
I'm cunning!
Yay! Go ahead and read off the chart.
Reveal that things are not what they seemed. So I actually let Kit know that there is a hidden camera
Okay.
over in this wall, and I can kind of see through my telescope the blinky red light.
We gotta be careful to evade it.
Yep. And so let Kit know how to steer us so we don't run into that.
Okay. So Kit, you are now able to steer, and we are going, I'm assuming, to the office building? Or to the storage lockers? Okay, we are at the storage lockers.
Alright. So, sneak on past the storage lockers. Being sneaky.
Okay.
Heading over to the mega store. 2. That was YOLO.
Okay, cool.
So you can play a card.
Yep.
If you have a helm card,
Which I do.
fog blankets the neighborhood, making it hard to find your way if it were to trigger.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Instead, you get to be helpful.
Yes.
I think we're doing this right.
Yeah, okay.
But we are at one of our destinations.
Yes,
so
we are.
Want,
All right.
want to try and steal something.
Try to steal a couple
Two
things.
things.
How would you like to get down?
Land on the roof.
I figure we could either use the vacuum and suck us up against the vacuum and drop us that way and turn off the vacuum and let us go. Or we could use the gravitron and throw us towards our separate destinations.
All right, that sounds like a plan.
Does it sound complex?
Nope, not at all. You're raccoons.
It has to be complex.
I mean, it sounds complex enough for raccoons.
Okay.
With that, I think we're going to go ahead and end on a little bit of a minor cliffhanger. We're going to go ahead and find out what happens next time on Bone Throwers Theater. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for listening to Bone Throwers Theater. We are releasing this podcast under a Creative Commons Attribution, Non-Commercial, No Derivatives 3.0 Unported license. That means you can share the podcast, but please do not modify it or try to gain financially from it. If you would like to visit our website, you can do so at bonethrowerstheater.com. If you would like to send us an email, you can do so at bonethrowerstheater@gmail.com. Our Twitter handle is bonethrowerstheater. You can also look us up on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And until next time, may the bones fall ever in your favor. This has been a Nerd Circle podcast production.